Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to another episode of Rob the Mic. I wanted to start off today's episode with wishing you guys a very happy Valentine's Day. And before some of y'all start being like, ah, man, I don't do that, we do that around here. We do that. We about that love, we about all that goodness. This is what this is about. This is what you come here for. You come here for love, you come here for realness, good vibes. And today, I'm a big fan of it. I'm not gonna lie. I love Valentine's Day. I know people be like, "Oh, it's a corporate holiday, da da da." I don't care what it is. I don't care. If it's if I have an opportunity, as if I already don't. Like always tell the people in my life how much I love them, how much I care for them all the time. Like I make it mad weird because I just want them to know. I want people to understand and know where I'm coming from. But it's like if there's a day that surrounds it, it's cool because I get to put time into it, like even more time than I already do. And that means I get to dedicate another day to them, to the people that I love, and also to myself, because me getting to show people how much I love and care for them is me showing myself how much I love and care for them. Like it's a way I get to express myself, and me getting to express myself makes me happy, you know? So I get to show myself love with showing other people love, whether it's giving them gifts or, taking them out to eat or something of the sort. Like it's just me making other people happy makes myself very happy. Like I love that. I love seeing people smile. And if I can make you smile in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to do that. So here we celebrate Valentine's Day. So again, happy Valentine's Day, y'all. And it's special for multiple reasons. I think one of the reasons that I wanted to touch on was that it's actually my grandparents' anniversary. And they've been married now for 45 years, going on 45 years. So it's something I've always been around. Valentine's Day has always been an important day in my house because it's Valentine's Day, right? That's one thing. And then it's my grandparents' anniversary. So there's multiple things that get celebrated in this house. And it's a big deal for my grandma. It's a big deal for my mom. My mom always made sure growing up that I always have Valentine's gifts. Same thing with my grandma, whether it was like a little thing of flowers or a single flower, like she always had something for me, some chocolates, a card, anything. There was never a year that went by where we didn't celebrate it in this house. So being for some reason being that it was my grandparents' anniversary, and with everything that's happened, I think it was even more important for my mom and I to put time into today, just to kind of show them how much we love them, how much we appreciate them. And as if we already don't every day. I mean, because we do. We take care of them. We do everything that we can for them because we always want them to feel loved and cared for. Because my grandparents, they haven't always had opportunities, let's say, to experience that. I think especially for my grandpa, because he has kids. I'm not trying to put his business out there like that, but this is a part of it. So I'm trying to be real with y'all. So, I mean, he has kids, and certain kids show him and they tell him how much they love and care for him. And there's others where they could care less. They don't say, happy anniversary, dad. They don't turn around and like, hey, happy Valentine's Day. I don't know anything. They don't show that. And my mom and I, even though again we show it on a daily basis, on days like today, we get to put a little bit more focus, a little bit more effort into those things, which is cool. So for what we wanted to do is go out to eat as a family, which we haven't done. We don't really do it too much anymore, but it's something that we want to try to make more time for. And again, I think with everything that's happened and like the amount of family that my grandpa's lost, with my grandma's loss of her son in the recent months, and just everything that's kind of happened, all the turmoil within the family, like it's days like today that we get to use as an excuse to be together. And like, not that we need an excuse, but it's just another reason, Hey, it's Valentine's Day, let's go eat. And we did. We went to Bob's Big Boy in Downey. We had some breakfast together. We're just laughing, talking. Like it was really, really nice. It was really, really nice. And it's cool because again, we got to celebrate multiple things. Valentine's Day as a family, their anniversary, us still just being here in the same place. Because again, there's a lot of people that unfortunately aren't able to join us for certain things anymore. So there's many, many reasons like to rejoice for today. And I'm here for it. Again, I love it. I love love in any way, shape, or form between my homies, like my family, romantic partners, anything like that. Like I'm here for love in general. So that's what I like to perpetuate. That's the type of vibe I like to push out. I like to feel love. I like to give love, all that. So that's what this is about. So that's been really special. So it's been off to a really nice start. And of course, for my mom and my grandma, I had to do something special for them. And I was trying to think of like what to do for them, because normally I would go and I have a certain flower shop that I pick up flowers from, and I would make them an arrangement. But this year I wanted to give them something that can continue to grow. So what I did is I actually ended up planting some plants for them. And like my mom's really into plants, my grandma loves plants. That's her thing, which is very common, right? You always hear that, like grandparents loving plants and gardening and stuff like that. But my grandma really does love plants. They're everywhere in our backyard and they're thriving. She's had plants that are like damn near dead that people give her. And she's like, I can bring it back. And sure enough, she does. So she has an insane green thumb. So I got her this really pretty little jasmine tree. And it's like a yellow jasmine, if I remember correctly. So it's gonna be really beautiful once it continues to grow, because the vines are already pretty big. So that's what I did for her. And for my mom, I ended up getting her like somewhat of like a viney plant too. I love vines. I love length. Like that's a big thing for me with plants. Like I have some hanging plants in my room as well, and I love seeing the growth of it. Like I love like dramatic plants, I guess you can say. I guess that's probably the better way to say it. I love dramatic plants. So anything that has like super big leaves, or something that grows really crazy, anything with vines, like I love that type of stuff, because it can kind of have a mind of its own. And if you take care of it and let it do its thing, it'll repay you with like showing you how beautiful it is. So I myself am really into plants, but again, getting to show my mom and my grandma how much I love them and care for them with gifting them these plants, it was a little bit more special, you know? And like I took off and got some cookies from my mom this morning. She was really stoked on those because they're from her favorite cookie spot, or one of her favorite cookie spots. So it's been really nice, y'all. It's been really, really nice. I've talked to quite a few homies today, told them how much I love them. Happy Valentine's Day, all these things, because again, people tend to focus on the romantic aspect of Valentine's Day, and they're like, I feel so alone, I feel so this, I feel so that. Like there's so much more to it. There's so much more to it. And I think you can turn this holiday into whatever it is that you want it to be. It can be a really horrible day, and it can be really painful. And granted, it is, to be honest with you, even for myself, it is really painful. It's really tough. I think about a lot. But at the same time, if I'm stuck in the past and I'm constantly thinking about those things, all I'm doing is perpetuating a certain sort of vibe, a certain sort of energy. And I don't want that, because what's happened has already happened, y'all. I can't do anything about it. I lived it already, but it's past. I have a brand new day, a brand new holiday in front of me. And I had a choice this morning when I woke up to either sit and be sad and wallow in it, in things that have happened, or make do with what I got. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty on top. I'm pretty on top. There's a ton of people in my life right now that I love and that I care for. So why would I not be thankful for them? Why would I not tell them, hey, I love you? I love you. I appreciate you. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have a beautiful one. It's just, it's awesome to be able to do it. And I'm very fortunate to be in this position to be able to do so, and to show people how much I care, you know? And I think it's so important to tell everybody in your life how much you love them. And again, because of the perspective that I've received in the last few months with the amount of people that I've lost, a lot of those people, I would love to tell them, hey, I love you one more time. One more time. How much I appreciate them, how much I look up to them, all of those things. But I won't ever get that chance again. So for the people that I have here with me right now, I take advantage of this time and I tell them, hey, I love you. I appreciate you. XYZ, everything under the sun. And I think it's cool to do that. I don't think it makes you sap or a sap, excuse me. I don't think it makes you weak. I don't think it makes you corny. I don't think it makes you any of that shit. And I think people who say shit like that, can kick rocks. Like, that's some real bullshit, you know? It's tight to tell your homies you love them. It's tight to tell people that you love them, that you care for them, to express your gratitude, your appreciation, all that stuff. That makes you more of a person than anything else. It shows, and you're displaying your strength because you're not afraid. You're not afraid to tell people, I love you. I care for you. I appreciate you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for the strength, the love, the everything that you give me. It takes a lot of strength to be able to do so. And people are afraid to express themselves. People are afraid. And it's sad. And I hope that one day that I can see that stigma break. Because I know for myself and the people in my life, I try to perpetuate a certain type of energy, a certain type of persona, because it's me. I am very much that. And I want people to feel that, which is love, which is good vibes, which is good things. And it's like, if that's not for you, then it's cool. You don't have to be around me. We don't have to kick it. I'm not for you. But again, in this house, which is myself, again, like, like we've talked about before, I think we each have our own homes. We each have our own houses. This place is a place of love. This place is a place of positivity, good vibes, good things. If you don't like it over here, you don't have to be around here. It's cool. The door is always open for the right people to come through and the wrong people to leave. It's entirely on you. And again, today is a day that I get to turn around and tell those people how much I love them. And it's funny because actually right before I was recording the podcast, I seen something on IG and I had sent it to Albert, Yessie, Brianna, Rob, like a couple people. And it was like some dude just like standing in the picture, like in like a hard stance. And it was like, fuck February 14th. I love you every day. And like I sent that to them because it's true. Like we tell each other almost every day, almost every time that we talk, whenever we get the chances, and I love you comes out. It's one of those things, like as often as we can, that's what we do. So everybody in my life is on the same page. People come across each other when the homies, let's say when a certain like group of homies meets another group of homies that I kick it with, everybody knows immediately. They're like, yo, because you guys fuck with Rob, we already know that it's all love here. It's all love. If you're good, if Rob loves you, we love you. And it's tight because that's the type of energy that I'm here for. Is everybody who fucks with me knows what I'm about. They know it. I'm not here to play games. I love you. It's simple. I think the gravity and the weight of that phrase, right, or those three letters, however you want to say it, well, letter and words, right? I love you has different weights, but at the same time, it doesn't, because when you love someone, you love someone, and you can show them in different ways. But again, I think it's important to constantly express that. And again, very, very fortunate. I know that this first part's been very repetitive, but I don't know how else to drill it in. Is to keep talking about it and to keep reminding you guys and telling you guys what I'm about over here, as if you already don't know. But for them, maybe there's new people who are listening to this episode. I don't know. But this is what it is. Crash course. I'm about that love. I'm about that, about smiles, about hugs, about all the things. It's all good things over here. That's all it is, And I was trying to build something around today's episode, right? Like some sort of like questions, things to kind of talk about really quick. And one thing that I wanted to touch on was, well, out of the four, because there's going to be four different things I want to talk to you guys about. One of the things is like romantic gestures and just kind of diving into different ways to express love, all of that, right? Because I think people forget how big and how small gestures can be, right? You can have things as grandiose as like, hey, I planned the trip for us. We're going to go to XYZ, whether it's out of state, whether it's to a different spot. Maybe you're going to get away for the mountains, And when you get there, someone had the room all set up. You got champagne out. You got some flowers and balloons. You have big gestures like that, right? Down to the smallest of things where it's like, hey, I was at the store because I know you told me I had to get some stuff on the way home. Say you stopped and grabbed some milk, some veggies, whatever you needed. But I know you really love Reese's, so I got you a pack of Reese's. And like to me, I'm not saying that those are the same, but they are the same if you think about it, because there's different ways to show people that you love them. And both of those gestures are very heartfelt, because if they come from the same place, which is deep down inside, and they come from a good place full of love, that's what it's about, right? It's, in a sense, it's that whole thing like we've heard since we were growing up. It's like it's a thought that counts. So there's so many different ways. You have people that write their partners little letters, right? Someone, their partner drops off a coffee. Like, oh, actually, I got a good one on that. An example. So my uncle who passed, my uncle Alfredo, he used to get my aunt coffees, and he would, on the top of the coffee, he would write little love letters. Now I'm trying not to get not to get emotional on you guys already, but he used to write her little love letters and just like tell her how proud of her she is, or how proud he was of her, how much he loved her, things like that. And he'd write them on the tops of the coffee lids. And it's a trip because my aunt has them still. And she, what's funny is she doesn't even know why she kept them. And little did she know it would be one of the last things she ever had of his that he wrote, that was from him for her. And I told her like how to preserve them, and we're going to frame them and do this little project with them. But it's things like that that people don't think about. But that sort of gesture, if you think about it alone, look at how much that meant. He probably didn't even know how much it was going to mean, because to him it was just like, I'm just getting my wife a coffee and I'm with some Sharpie writing a quick little note. But that's something she's going to have for the rest of her life, and she'll get to look back and remember him, every day, no matter how bad it hurts. She'll get to look and say that somebody loved me so much to share it every chance they got, even if it was on something so small. And that's what I mean. Like, people forget that. It's not about these big grandiose trips and doing all this and doing all that. It's about the small things. It's the, hey, I got you your favorite sauce from this place because I know you like it. It's the, hey, I know you really like the fries from Chick-fil-A, but you really wanted some nuggets from McDonald's, so I went and got you both, and I got your favorite sauces and like stuff like that. To me, I always go to food because food is a big one for me. Food is how I show love. It's how I show people I love them. Aside from my art, I love making art for people and doing certain things like that. Don't get me wrong. But food, oh, if I can take you somewhere that I love, is if I take you to a restaurant that I love, man, my food places, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I gatekeep the hell out of them. Ooh, I gatekeep like a motherfucker. So I'm like, ooh, I got some pizza. And I got certain places that it's like, ooh, I only unlock for certain people. Like that's it. And there's certain places I only take certain people, and this, that, and the third. And it's that simple. But that's one way that I show love. It's one way, But I think, you have giving flowers and stuff like that. That's another really beautiful gesture. And for myself, because I love flowers so much, they mean so much more, whether it's plants or flowers or anything like that. I love making arrangements. I grew up watching my mom, watching my grandma always work with flowers. So I always had like an affinity for that. And as I got older, I found myself gravitating towards it. And it's something that I would love to do. Like, I think if I ever had the opportunity to open or do something, I would love to have a flower shop. I would. To make arrangements and do certain things, like everything custom for people. Because I think when you express yourself using things like that, I think that medium is so incredible, because you have so many different colors of flowers and variants and smells and textures, and you can show people how you feel because of those things. You can use these crazy like big flowers to do all this and all that. You can use pieces of palm, of trees and things like that, and get as expressive as you want. and as wild as you want to try and express something to these people, the people that you're trying to show them, right? Like how much you love them, how much you care for them. I think that's a really beautiful one. And I can't tell you how many times I've had friends and family ask me to do things for them with like floral arrangements, or hey, how can I do this? How can I do that? And I find it really, really humbling and flattering for sure. Because the fact that people would think of me when they've seen flower arrangements that I've done, or when I do certain things, that they think of me when they see that, it's awesome. It's, again, very, very humbling, very flattering, you know? And I hope to continue exploring that entire realm, because it makes me happy. It brings me peace. And I've had so many memories, especially in the recent months, for multiple reasons, right? Whether I've had to make arrangements for happy things, for birthdays, for just because I've done that so many times, or funeral arrangements too. I've had to make a few of those, which I never thought I'd ever have to make in my life. It's one thing to purchase them. I think it's another thing to make them. But at the same time, it's a way of showing love. It's a way of showing gratitude. It's a gesture, right? Like, again, to bring up my uncle, I didn't know that he loved flowers until shortly before he passed. And I wish I would have known, because if that was the case, I would have been making him flower arrangements for years, because I love him. And when he passed, I made multiple flower arrangements. One for a church ceremony that we had for him. I made 4 really beautiful arrangements for him. And on his day of remembrance, we also had an event at a brewery. And I made a really beautiful arrangement for that too. And I remember talking to a florist that I had gotten some flowers from in Seal Beach, which is one of the places that I source from. And he was like, we were just going through it, and I was picking all these flowers that I wanted and stuff. And he goes, Robert, it's really beautiful that you can do this, and that you don't want us to do it. Like, you don't want the shop to put it together for you. And it was funny because shortly before that, I had gone to this shop to have them make some arrangements for me. So, I mean, I have them do work for me all the time, but I love purchasing things from them just to be able to do work at home, because again, the flowers and stuff that they have access to are a little bit different. Sometimes you get some really weird, cool stuff, cool color variations and all that. So it's nice to be able to show my love and appreciation that way. So if you're not really into flowers, if you're curious about them, if you ever have questions about them, you guys, ask me. I would love to help in some way, shape, or form, because it's awesome. It's awesome to be able to do that. And even today, I've been surrounded by flowers here at the house. My grandma's received so many from my mom, my grandpa, from people just that in the family that have been sending flowers over here. It's like, it's kind of overwhelming, but it's really beautiful to go downstairs and just see flowers everywhere, so I love it. I'm here for it. I also think another important gesture is like planning, like, let's say you're in a relationship, you're involved with somebody, you're dating somebody. I think even with friends is important too, is like planning dates, planning outings, moments where you can just go and be together anywhere, whether it's you're going to go have a picnic somewhere, you're going to go to a museum, you're going to go walk around, you're going to go hiking. I think for off-road guys, there's easy ways to make off-roading romantic, which is really tight. And I think it kind of gets walked over, which is like, you can use your trails and things like that as ways to get away. At the end of the day, as much as, for a lot of us who go on some of these really aggressive trails, we end up in these really beautiful places. So you can turn something like that into something really romantic and really cool. So it's like, there's so many things you can do in this world, grab Jack in the Box and go to the park, play some music. For the car guys, pack your car up, pick up your person, cruise to the park, take your little boombox with you, take a little blanket, go sit out there, listen to some music, chill out with the car. Like, it's tight. Make it a whole experience. Just a tip for those of y'all who haven't thought about stuff like that. But also, I think it's just important to show your partner too, like, hey, I made some reservations on Friday, be ready by 7. I think it speaks volumes to do something like that, especially if you don't do it all the time. Or if you really, some people don't do it at all. And I see that. I've seen it, even as of recent. I've talked to certain homies about, like, that are married, and one of them recently was telling me that, like, her and her husband, like, don't go out at all. Like, zero. They don't go get dinner, they don't do anything. And I didn't understand that. And she's like, "What do you mean, dude? Like, I'm being 100% honest with you." I'm like, "Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that you're being honest with me, but it blows my mind." I'm like, "You guys don't spend any time together?" She's like, "No." Like, I don't remember the last time we went out to go eat. It was years ago, probably like more than 5 years ago. That shit blew my mind. So I'm like, how can you let somebody, like, how can you just let something like that go? And again, it doesn't have to be fancy. I think it's just going somewhere together, and I think just kind of sharing your time, your space. It goes really far. It goes a lot further than you would think. Sometimes pulling up to a mom and pop, burger spot and just chilling, having some onion rings together, sharing a laugh or two, like, that's what's up. Going to a brewery, just you two. Maybe just go have a beer and then, head back to the house. That's cool. Go walk on the beach. Go do something like that. Again, there's so many ways romantic gestures can be broken down, whether it's to the biggest of big or smallest of small. A gesture is a gesture. And I think as long as it comes from your heart, from a good place, you don't have to worry about anything. That's all you need. That's all you need. And granted, I think it will fluctuate. I think sometimes smaller things are a little more appropriate. I think sometimes you might want to go a little more all out. Birthdays, things like that. Sometimes out of the blue, I think it's really beautiful to do something like that too. Turn around, tell your partner, "Hey, I planned a little getaway next weekend." Or, "Hey, put this weekend on a block on the calendar." Why? Because I got something planned. Stuff like that's necessary. It's cool. Keep the relationship alive. Keep your partner in a certain place that they constantly feel loved and appreciated. Again, from the small things to the big things, I think it should fluctuate. It should be like waves, but you should experience all of those things. You too. Those of you who are listening, I'm not just telling all of y'all you should be the only ones to go do it. No, hopefully you experience that shit too. Because it's all about give and take. All of it. It shouldn't always be about giving. It shouldn't always be about taking. I think that also gets kind of shaken a little bit, especially with, like, current dating, right? I think that's a big one. Like, certain people feel entitled to certain things, like, "Oh, because I am this, you owe me this." Like, hold on. I think it goes both ways. I'm gonna show you how much I love and appreciate you, but I also hope that in turn you show me how much you love me and you appreciate me, because eventually that fire burns out when it's one person always giving and the other person taking, because I think the person taking doesn't necessarily have limits. I feel like that's how it goes for the most part. People who take don't have a limit of how much they take, and they don't realize it, nor do they care. And the people who give because they are givers will continue to give even when they don't want to, because they just feel maybe that's the only way to keep you. It's the only way to have you in their life. And it's not that, So that's why I think it's important for gestures that they go both ways. So as much as you show your partner how much you care, or your person or your friend or whatever, I hope that person can show you the same thing in return. I really do hope so. I hope y'all experience that, And I think with that being said, another very important thing I want to discuss, which we've discussed on the show before, so I'm not going to jump super into it, is love languages, right? And how much understanding love languages can enhance any sort of communication, your relationships, all of that, how they can change all of it. And for those of you who don't remember, or if you've never heard the love languages before, this is your first time on the show, they are acts of service. I got to look down on my notes, y'all, because I'll be forgetting these sometimes. So acts of service, quality time, receiving gifts, words of affirmation, and physical touch. I don't think any of those are more important than the other. I honestly see them as equal importance, all of them. I think, and for myself, I love all of these things. I know some people identify with certain ones more than the other. I think all of them are very important, because that's how I express my love to people. That's how I want love expressed to myself. you know? Like acts of service are important because it kind of goes along with the lines of gestures, showing people in some way, shape, or form how much I love you, how much I care. Quality time. I love spending time with people in my life, my friends, my family, anybody, people that I'm involved with romantically. Like, I want to spend time with you. I don't care what we're doing. I don't care if we're sitting there watching SpongeBob. That time is sacred to me, and I love it. I don't want to be disturbed. I'm not on my phone. I'm with you. It's me, you, and SpongeBob right now, and that's all that matters. Receiving gifts. For me, I love giving gifts, and don't get me wrong, receiving gifts, I always feel kind of like weird about it because I'm not a person, I don't like the attention in that way, but I also love it at the same time because the people who do, like, they do turn around and they do give me a gift, it's usually something very heartfelt because they know how much I care. Like it was funny, on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, I was with my buddy Sebastian, and we went over to an old friend Kieran's house, chilling, hanging out for the day. And before we took off, when I got to Sebastian's house, I went to pick him up. He's like, "Hey, bro, your Christmas gift arrived." And I was like, "Oh, no way." And turns out he got me a 24 karat coated ratchet from this brand called Icon. And it was funny because I told him, I'm like, "Dude, that's the most baller thing in the world. Like, I love that. Like, I would love to have it. I want to say I would love to use it. So I'm going to keep it in the queue. It's going to be like a little prop for that, but also I'm going to use it for certain things." And he ended up getting it for me. And I'm like, "Yo, this is so thoughtful, dude. This is so thoughtful." And it's gifts like that. It doesn't have to be, again, to that measure. I've had homies turn around. I've had family turn around and be like, "Yo, I know you really love these noodles. So I got you your favorite noodles, a dope little bowl, and some chopsticks." I'm like, "Yo, this is tight. This is tight." And that's the kind of stuff I love. It's those really thought out things. When people come to my house, they come to my room, they see things that I like, whether it's like art, decor, little lights, candles, things like that. And when homies turn around and get me stuff like that, I'm like, damn, it shows me a lot more than the gift. Because I'm like, "Yo, you really look around. You really listen to what I got to say. You care. And you show me that." And again, very appreciative of things like that. Words of affirmation, I also think, are very important too. I think it's important to tell people, like, let's say how proud you are of them. If they're doing really well, if they're doing amazing, you see them moving and working, and you tell people, "Hey, like, I acknowledge the hustle. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for pushing it. I'm proud of you for keeping it going." And there's so many ways to do that. So many ways to do that. And I think they can kind of all tie into each other, right? You can show with acts of service, gifts, all of those things can reinforce your words of affirmation. Like, "Yo, I'm so proud of you. I got you this water bottle that you wanted, which is really tight. There you go. You just wrapped in multiple love languages into one thing." I think another one too, which is physical touch. I think for some people, it's iffy. Some people really need it. Some people don't. Some people don't care for it. Some people do. For myself, especially with my romantic partners, I would say, not that I'm saying that I have multiple romantic partners, but I'm saying for my romantic partners who have been in my life in the past, for myself, that's a very tip top one for sure. Again, all of these are very important for myself, but that's a big one. I'm a very touchy feely person. Like, even with my homies, we're kicking it, chilling around each other. I got like my elbow on somebody. I'm resting on somebody's shoulder, giving somebody a hug, something. I'm like that because I treat my people like my family. And my family, my blood family is very affectionate. My mom's very affectionate, my grandma, my grandpa, everybody in this house, thankfully is very affectionate. So I grew up with that. I grew up with a lot of love, showing people what you love, you care for them. So it's always like a one arm around the shoulder, all that type of stuff. So those types of things mean a lot. And I think reassessing what your love languages are as a person is very important. If you don't know what they are, think about it. Listen to this part of the episode again. Are you more of an acts of service person, quality time, receiving gifts, words of affirmation, physical touch? What are all of those things important? Because again, you can identify with all of those. Some people say, "Oh, you got to choose." Why choose if all of them appeal to you? And again, for myself, they all appeal to me. They're all very important. So look and see what's going on with those, and look at your partners. If talking in a romantic sense, look at your partners. How do they like to be shown how do they like to be shown love? Are they more of an acts of service person? Maybe they're not so much on the physical touch, but maybe words of affirmation is heavy for them. They thrive in the environment where you can tell them, I'm very proud of you and I love you for that. Keep going, keep it pushing. And you notice that it brings their spirits up. That's important to them. Quality time when you're with them, no matter where you are. If you see that it's important to them, give them more of that. You have to be able to learn how to communicate in their love languages just as much as people have to learn how to communicate in your love languages. So being more aware of those things makes you more personally aware. You become socially aware. There's so many things that just sort of open up and grow. So do yourselves a favor. Look around at these love languages. Identify the ones that you identify with. That way you can communicate them to your partners, to your friends, anything like that. Because this isn't just romantic, mind you. It's not just romantic. This is with the homies too. But people need to know, because if people don't know, how are they supposed to know? But again, be aware. Take your notes, especially in the romantic space, because they will help you in how to communicate in so many different ways. Another one that I think is good to touch on today is like self-love and self-care. Because I think when you can have self-love, right? The only way you're going to love somebody else is if you love yourself. If you don't have that love for yourself, you're going to be constantly looking for the love for yourself in somebody else. And if that person leaves or something goes wrong, friend, romantic, family, anything like that, you're going to feel like your world is shattered because you're nothing without them. Because the love that you needed, you felt was in them. But in reality, the love that you need is inside yourself. You have what you need. We all have what we need inside. It's just whether we can unlock it, whether we can face it, whether we can uncover it. I feel like it's a very Indiana Jones type of thing, right? Because I think we go through so much turmoil, we go through so much pain. These things just get kind of buried. That love is buried, and it's deep in there. You don't even know how to get to it sometimes. You don't even know where the map is. You don't even know where to start. And of course, that's how things like, therapy come into play, self-work. You start to learn how to uncover things and how to figure things out and how to work through these difficult things so you can uncover something very beautiful. And again, if you can love yourself, that's when you can truly love somebody else. And sometimes getting to that point is very painful. I know for myself, having self-love has been very painful in the last few months. But thankfully, due to therapy and due to the self-work that I put in outside of therapy, it's put me in a way better place, because I've been able to kind of reassess and understand and bring myself down, because I have the love that I need. I have the power that I need to make myself feel whole. And that's been a really tough one. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, because I lapse on it all the time. All the time. I think it's never the whole therapy journey, which we've discussed before, to me is not a linear journey. For some people, it kind of is, depending on how you do certain things. For me, it is very non-linear. I'll be fine going in a certain direction one way. Next thing you know, I bank left, crash into a wall, and I'm like, oh shit, well, now I got to back up, get back on this path. So it's very much like, it's all over the place. It's all over the place, and it's okay. Because my main thing is that even if I'm making slow progress, I'm still making progress. I'm still taking steps forward. And that is self-love. And that is self-care. Realizing that sometimes I need to just stay home. And I just need to go get my favorite food and do a whole lot of nothing and watch my favorite show. That's important. Sometimes I just need to sit there and do my skincare routine and do a whole lot of nothing and just pamper myself. Self-care. Sometimes self-care and self-love is being with people that I love and that I care for, because they make me feel more myself than anything else. I have my days where I hit up Albert and I'm like, yo, I'm spiraling. He's like, bring your ass out here. We're going to go get some food. And then me, him, and Yessie take off to go get some food. Like recently, our little food adventure, we went to go get some pizza, have some beer, and it was fucking great. It was so great. That was such a beautiful Saturday. I couldn't have asked for something better. Yeah, I got my brother and my sister, and I needed it. I needed it in my soul. I needed pizza. I needed just good times, good vibes. So that's another example, self-love and self-care. Give yourself the things that you need. Don't deny yourself that happiness. Don't deny yourself anything that you deserve. If you have the opportunity to give it to yourself, give it to yourself. Do it. But I also think on days like today, Valentine's Day, can be very difficult because you think, I'm alone. I feel alone. I feel lonely. And as tough as it is, look to the people around you. Because I'm pretty sure you got people around you who love and care for you. It doesn't always have to be a romantic thing. Today isn't, again, it's not just about romantics. It's not. It's not just about boyfriends, girlfriends, husband, wives, anything like that. It's about friendships. It's about family. It's about people that you love and care for. That's what it's about, ultimately. I just think it gets misconstrued in the way it gets pushed out in media, which I think makes things worse, right? It's always seen as such a romantic day, but it's a day of love. So don't ever let that representation become skewed. Always remember that. And if you have a tough time, holla at your boy. I'll help you remember that, because I had to learn it the hard way. I was always so bent out of shape and so stuck in this mentality that today is about relationships, just about love. It's about marriage. It's about, all this. And I was like, wait, it's actually not. It's very much about love. And I'm going to make today what I want it to be. And today I've made it very special. And it's about everyone that I love, every person, everyone that I care for. That's what it's about. And I think it kind of ties in, I guess, with my last one, which is alternative perspectives to Valentine's Day, and that's what I'm saying. Even if you don't have a quote unquote Valentine, get together with your friends, your homeboys, your homegirls, whatever. Get together, have a couple drinks, have some laughs, watch a movie, chill out, enjoy each other's company. Again, today is about love. Maybe today's about going into the community and helping the community in some way. And I know it's a heavily commercialized day. It's very corporate America, go, 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 spend, spend, spend. And it can be. It can be very much that, but there's a way to go about it where it doesn't feel so commercialized. That's why in my eyes, I think it's more important to focus on the gestures for today. Get your person their favorite flowers today. And it doesn't have to be this massive bouquet of like 400 of whatever it is that they love. Maybe it's just a bunch of 3 and their favorite candies. Maybe all of their favorite candies, even if it's just like the little mini ones, like something like there's ways to do it. Make them a little basket, things like that. Go about today a little bit different than what the media is telling you to do. Don't go over there and buy the box of chocolates. Get something that matters. Go get your person a shirt that you thought was cute in the novelty section or something like that. Maybe they really love Star Wars. You go and get them a Star Wars tee. Hey, I found this for you. Love it. Maybe put it with a candle that they really like. I don't know. I'm trying to give ideas, but there's ways to go against the commercialization of it all. You don't always have to give in to the big hearts and the big teddy bears. That type of stuff doesn't mean shit. It's the gesture. It's the thought. Something this big can mean so much more than a giant teddy bear. You know what I'm saying? So I think for you guys, take today, sit with it, enjoy it, love it. I hope that you guys are experiencing a really beautiful one. If it's been a little rough today, I get it. 100% I get it. You got a lot to love. You have a lot to live for. And today is a beautiful day. Tell your friends that you love them. Tell your family that you love them. There's a lot of people out there that care for you. A lot of people, for sure. And for the advice for today, at the end of the day, February 14th is just another day. Tell the people in your life how much you love them, how much you care for them every single day, every chance that you get, because you never know. Life is wild. Things change in an instant, one day to the next, one moment to the next, hour, minute, everything. Things change really quickly. And when you can tell the people in your life how much you love and how much you care for them, it makes a difference. In my opinion, it makes a difference. Sometimes knowing as often as possible how much someone loves you can change things up. So go do that. I appreciate you guys for tuning into this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I didn't want to make it too lovey-dovey, but I wanted to give you guys something. Today's been a little pressing, and I was like, I gotta record this podcast. I have to. I was gonna push it till tomorrow, record tomorrow, but I said, nah. It's like the people need the goodness. They need the love. They need the good vibes. I want you guys to go into this weekend with something beautiful. And yeah, I know I could have done it tomorrow, but there's something different about recording today because today's the day. Even if you don't get to hear it today or see it tonight, because if you don't already know, usually all the podcasts come out Wednesday night. 9 p.m. they go live on Spotify or all the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple, but basically all of them that are on there. And then YouTube, it goes live around the same time. Sometimes a little bit earlier, sometimes because the scaling to 4K takes a little bit longer. But generally they come out Wednesday night. So if you don't hear this today and you hear it tomorrow on Thursday, either way, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you guys had a beautiful one, and I will catch you guys on the next one.